Hello and welcome to Grade Expectations. I'm your host Grade, and today we have a CGC unboxing. I've been waiting forever to get these comics back, and they've finally arrived, so it's time to open up 25 modern comic books. Now, this is not my first CGC unboxing. The first one I did was for Ultimate Spider-Man 1, my signed edition, and I received that one individually, so it wasn't much of an unboxing. This is the first time that I'm getting a bunch of comics back. Now, originally, I submitted these comics to be pressed by Mr. Kendra in October of 2020. And basically, I had accumulated them from my personal collection and throughout the pandemic. So when you're looking at the comics that I'm unboxing here, a lot of them are as somebody that's returning to the comic community, to the comic market, and really the original targets that I had, the comics that I really wanted to have in my collection, or that I thought were undervalued, or like had a lot of potential. These are moderns. There's some really good ones in here. My extra special good ones. I have 10 that were also submitted in a higher tier, and they should be returning in the next couple weeks. And obviously, I'm super excited for those ones to come back. Just having books at CGC and watching the market explode, and like really getting a lot of new buyers into the market. It's great to have comics coming back, but at the same time, it is nerve-wracking because you don't know what the grades are. You see the values going up, and some of these I do intend to sell in the open market, and some are going to stay in my personal collection. Obviously, the grade matters, and I have high expectations for some. Now, again, these were pressed by Mr. Kendra and submitted by him to CGC. They are not all winners. So a lot of these comics I did buy on eBay initially, or Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, and I'm not guaranteeing 9.8s for all of these. So let's get into it. All right. So the first comic I have is Marvel Point One, number one. This is Kamala Khan's first full appearance. I have bought 7 copies of this comic book since I got back into collecting. 4 of them, or let's say 3 of them, one's still yet to arrive, but 3 of them had major damage to the 2 spine corners, and these 3 um, definitely had like the binder tears from the press. So quick look. This one does not look like a 9.8 to me. It has kind of like a little wear on both corners. This comic in a 9.8 is quite expensive. We're talking, say 1,500 US. In a 9.6, it's about 500 US. And it's a huge difference because a lot of these were damaged when they were shipped or produced. And so because of that, it is very difficult to get a 9.8. Also, I want to thank my wife for putting tape on all of these. So here we go. We got the first one here, and it is a 9.6 white pages. Not bad. Definitely was not a 9.8. Let's keep going. All right. Next comic is another Marvel Point One, number one. This one also has a binder tear at the top corner. And let's see what we got. Again, 9.6 white pages. I bought each of these 3 Marvel Point Ones for um, about 200 Canadian, which is about 160 US, which seemed high, but at the same time, there weren't a lot of them. And looking now, I rarely see an all new Marvel Point One on eBay or really anywhere. So the market's really dried up on these. Okay, so we have the third one here. Again, it's got like little, like a little bit of wear on the bottom corner and kind of like that tear on the top one. This one looks the best of the three, and we got a 9.4. How disappointing. All right, I was really hoping for a 9.8 out of one of those three. Let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Venom number 7. This is the first cameo of Dylan Brock. And when before the pandemic, I wasn't really collecting too much. I did pick up a Venom 3 randomly, which is Null's first appearance, just because I thought it was a pretty cool idea to have a symbiote god. And I was pretty into Venom. So anyway, once the pandemic hit, I started collecting again. And we kind of knew that Dylan might have powers. I picked up a Venom number 7. So this looks unread to me. It looks like it's in perfect condition. 9.6. I don't know what's going on with that one, but was hoping for a 9.8. Next, Venom number 9. So this is Dylan Brock's first full appearance. This comic looks great. Let's see what the grade is. 9.6 again. Oh my gosh. I thought for sure the Venom 7 and 9 would be a 9.8. So maybe I have a tough grader, or maybe I just don't know how to judge comic books. Okay. Something is Killing the Children, number 1. So this is the Jenny Frison unlocked variant. I did not read Something is Killing the Children, and there certainly was a lot of hype in the summer of 2020 about this comic book. And I just thought this cover was fantastic, and so I bought one. It wasn't overly expensive. I would say about 50 US, and it appeared unread. This one's in pretty good condition, but I do see some wear on the bottom corner. 9.4. All right. Next, we have the Venom 3 I was talking about. So this is the first appearance of Null, the symbiote god. Cool comic book. Looks perfect in the case. I believe I paid like 30 US for this comic. Now, this was before a lot of the hype and before the King in Black storyline. And 9.6. Oh man, I'm shocked I don't have a 9.8 on any of those. We'll see if there are any grader notes. Maybe this grader just doesn't give 9.8s. So next, Strange Academy number 1. I've obviously talked about Strange Academy, what a great comic it is, and I have been reading this comic. This comic's the future. Like, people are starting to get wise to it. You're seeing that it's going up in price, so it's over $400, or it's almost $400 US now, and I have a number of copies. So this is the J. Scott Campbell B cover, I would assume. Oh, it's not a B, but the J. Scott Campbell. And looks good to me. Let's see. 9.6. This guy. All right. Moving on. We have Strange Academy number 3. Number 3, this is the 1 in 25 variant. So I got this one, like when Strange Academy 3 came out, I think I got a set of, the different covers and the variant cover. So that's what this is from. Looks perfect to me. And we got my first 9.8. All right. So this is definitely a comic that you can really get for near ratio still, and I think it's got a lot of potential. It's a 1 in 25. I believe there's a cameo for the Hollow in this, and which is the villain for Strange Academy. So it could be a big comic one day. Certainly will not be selling this one and staying in the collection. All right, next. This is an internet hype book. So this is New Avengers #7, and this is the first appearance of the Illuminati. And certainly the Illuminati could be a huge deal um, in the Marvel universe at some point, and this is their first comic. I've seen this on Comic Tom, and it seems to pop up every couple of months. And the first time I saw it pop up, I purchased a copy. So this is from eBay. Corners have a tiny bit of wear, and it is a 9.6. When you're waiting for CGC comics to come back, you have visions of 9.8, and I am shocked at how many 9.6s I'm getting so far. Um, Now that being said, these are the original comics that I was purchasing. I didn't buy a lot of them in person. I ordered them, although I would expect more. These are the good ones that I thought. So we're gonna get into some older ones. Not this one though. So this is New Agents of Atlas #1. This is a superhero team, first appearance of like Wave and Luna, and it's like a South Asian team. So again, I'm thinking that the Marvel Universe is going the diversity route, and so this comic could be undervalued right now. I am seeing it pop up a little more, and maybe speculators are just hoping that this comic's going to get big. So looking at it, it looks perfect to me, just from my quick glance. And we have a 9.8, so I'm happy with that. This comic, I don't know, I was picking up pretty cheap, maybe $20, $30 for this, and now you're seeing it at 160 for a 9.8. So that's a good return for me. Next, Strange Academy #1. This is the A cover, and the market's effectively spoken, saying that this cover is the one to get. I love this cover. I love the Strange Academy idea and Disney Plus and all this. So it's certainly, um, just a huge spec book. And I have not seen many of these come up in the last few months. Now I'm looking in Canada predominantly. Like I'm not going to pay import charges on a book like this if it's readily available in Canada. And basically, when one popped up on eBay, I was buying them. Started at 40 dollars, and now I saw one sell just a near mint copy of this comic for 160 US this week. So certainly, there's a lot of hype to it. The 9.8 on this is about almost $400. And in my next submission, I have submitted like 10 of these. So I more or less cornered the market in Canada. Everyone that popped up, that was near mint or near mint plus, I bought, and I've got them all getting pressed, and then they'll be submitted. So this book looks perfect to me, and the grade is 9.6. This guy, unbelievable. I've seen like some people very disappointed with their like or complaining about their grading, and 9.8s are coming back as 9.6s. Honestly, I'm gonna take a look at all these 9.6s, but all right, what do we have next? God of Thunder #2. So this is the first appearance of Gore, first appearance of the Necrosword. I purchased this long before the announcement that Gore was going to be played by Christian Bale, and I remember it having a little corner rub. So given all the 9.6s, I would imagine this will not be a 9.8. And we have a 9.6. Still a good comic to have, and just Christian Bale. We don't know if that's going to be a one comic role, or sorry, a one movie role, or what's going to happen with that. But it seems pretty cool. All right, next we got an older one. So this is X-Men 266, first full appearance of Gambit, and I remember buying this. This is a very nice copy. Looks very good on both sides. So I'm hoping for a 9.8. I think I paid 120 US for this back in maybe September, October. And like Gambit's just got a huge cult following. X-Men has been exploding, and everyone's anticipating that X-Men is going to be in the MCU and who's going to be on the team, this and that. I just picked up a 9.6 of Rogue's first appearance, and this one is going to sit next to it. It was a 9.6. Hopefully this one's better. 9.4. That's not terrible. It looks better than a 9.4 to me. I got I bought a 9.4 of X-Men 129 back in November, and I could have sworn it had it had to have like 6 spine ticks that were noticeable to me. And I look at this 9.4. I don't know. You could make an argument that there is one imperfection there, and it's getting a 9.4. So I don't know if they've tightened their grading, or I just get somebody that didn't get laid, but not super impressed with that grade. All right, next, Miles Morales #6. So this is the first appearance of Starling. I have a couple more copies of this comic um, being graded at CGC right now. I think this is a cool spec because there isn't too much hype about Starling. Marvel's put her in the champions next to Miles Morales, and really Miles doesn't have too many allies, um, really too many villains either. So anybody that kind of can stand up to Miles or stand with Miles, I think is an important spec right now because he's going to be huge once he hits the MCU. So this comic looks perfect to me. 9.6, of course. Maybe the grader just doesn't like any comic book that's pressed because I did have all these pressed. A comic book like that, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 6, like did it need to be pressed? I don't necessarily think so, but I'm just submitting it with my 25 to Mr. Kendra. I don't know what to say. All right. Wolverine #1. So this is his first ongoing series. There's a limited series with the #1 with the cool cover. It's got the red background. That's in this box too. This comic, I'm a big Wolverine fan. I bought this comic on eBay. Looks pretty good. I would say there could be a little, like a tiny little rub on the bottom. But I bought this super cheap. I bought it for like 15 US. Just it was an auction. Nobody bid on it, and this was back in September, and I couldn't believe it was that cheap. All right, what do we get? 9.2 white pages. Still shocked with the grades on these. That one could be a 9.2, like it's an older book, and really a lot of the older books I'm not expecting 9.8s on. Next, we have Uncanny X-Men 221. So this is the first appearance of Mr. Sinister. It's a newsstand copy. I remember thinking this was a pretty good copy. However, looking at it, I can see at least two spine ticks on it. So it's definitely not a 9.8. And we got a 9.4. Not too bad. Mr. Sinister is a cool character. He's basically like the backbone of the current Marauders run. And we were hoping during the Fox universe that Essex Corp was going to show up and Mr. Sinister would be behind the scenes causing trouble. They just never did anything with that. So I know he's in the Hulu show for MODOK, and hopefully he makes it to the MCU because he's a really cool villain. The case has a scratch on it. All right, we have Captain Marvel number 17. So this is the first or the second cameo appearance of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, and she's only in one panel. She does say her name is Kamala in this comic, and there aren't a lot of them. The 14, so Captain Marvel 14, I feel is really overpriced for what it is. It's got an okay cover. It's barely a cameo. Like really, if nobody went back and said, oh yeah, that was Kamala, you wouldn't even think that Kamala Khan is in number 14. She's barely in this one. I am a fan of Kamala Khan, and this comic popped up, so I thought I'd take a run at it. I feel like this comic has one spine tick on it, so we're not going to get a 9.8 for sure. And it is a 9.6. Now, with this comic, the second print has the first cover appearance of Kamala Khan. It's a very cool comic. It seems overpriced, but when you think about it and how few there are, like if you look on the census, there are almost none of this comic in second print that have been graded, and very few 9.8. So it's a comic that I really like. You have to really want to be a Kamala Khan fan or believe in her to get a comic like that. But I thought I'd get the cameo. All right. Bloodstone number 1. So this is the first appearance of Elsa Bloodstone. I first heard about Elsa in the Marvel video games. So I think for PS3 I was playing whatever game and she shows up and she's got the shotgun and she's a monster hunter and she seemed pretty cool. This comic is a very low print run. I would assume that a lot of them are in low grade because nobody really thought much about this character at first. I think it's like 2001 it came out in. And this is a comic I'm actively looking for. I have not found many of them. Um, Definitely not any in good condition. And this might be one where I just go ahead and buy a 9.8 because if she shows up in like the Blade movie or Blade movies, it would be a very cool, um, not sidekick, but counterpoint to Blade. And I've got this one from Texas. It does have one spine tick, has a spine tick, 9.4. Sorry, I thought the case was correct, but it's okay. Next, Amazing Spider-Man 361. So I had one of these in my collection. Um, when I say collection, I had a few books that I got when I was a teenager, and this is one of them. Carnage is a cool character. Sorry, my sorry, my computer screen went off. So Carnage is a very cool character. Second symbiote, I think. Yeah, second symbiote, and this is an excellent cover. This is the direct edition. Now, I bought this one from a guy, and it was like on Facebook Marketplace, and he charged me 120 bucks. The book appeared unread, and the only thing that it had was a tiny little like blue ink mark here, and that's pretty common, like a common printer defect with this comic book. And I have seen 9/8 that do have the blue ink, so I'm hopeful. This comic looks pretty good. Centering's great. Let's see what we got. 9.6. I was definitely hoping for a 9.8 on this one. It's approaching $2,000 for a 9.8. 9.6 is pretty good. I feel like my grader had a bad day because I'm definitely getting a lot of 9.6s where I'm not seeing anything, and I'm sure there's going to be no notes. Next, we have Wolverine #1. So this is a limited series. This comic did have a like spine damage here, and Mr. Kendra did a great job of kind of like pressing out a lot of the problems with this book. This is covered by Logan's first solo series, 1 of 4. It's got like a little damage on this corner as well. So if I got a 9, that'd be great on this one. And I got an 8.5. Still very nice, awesome cover. And this comic has really started to heat up. There aren't a lot of Wolverine keys, so the few that there are, Hulk 180, Hulk 181, this one, Hulk 340, and that's about it. Next comic, X Factor #6. So this is Apocalypse's first appearance. Very cool villain. This is from the peak of the 90s, so there are a lot of copies of this comic. Um, I paid about $40 for it. It looks like it has a miswrap. You can barely tell on the front, but on the back you can see there's definitely a lot of the front cover on there. Has a little corner rub and a spine tick, and we got a 9.6, which I'm happy with. Comics like that are going on my wall. Next, uh, Marvel Secret Wars #8. So this is the origin of the black costume. I bought this when I was a teenager. It had like some writing on it, so not actual ink, but I feel like either I or somebody else had a piece of paper and used this comic underneath and kind of wrote on it. And Mr. Kendra got out more or less that indentation. It looks pretty good. I would suggest it's not a 9.8. It's a little ticky, and given this grader, it's not perfect. This one was basically just sitting in a box for 20 years until the pandemic hit and I started looking at the comics I had. So this comic got a 9.4. Not too bad. It's a great comic and a great cover. It has been homaged, so there's a Miles Morales version of this that I've been trying to get, but it's pretty expensive. So I don't know if I want to pay over $100 for just a cover of a newer comic book. We're almost at the end. Feels like 2 more. So we have Hulk 340. So this is one of my favorite covers. I remember it as like a teenager in the comic store, and like just raw emotion. You can see the fight, and great Todd McFarlane cover. This has been homaged a bunch of times, and I think it was voted the number one Todd McFarlane cover recently. And I had two copies of this. I got one super cheap, like 40 bucks. It had some wear, and I ended up selling it for 80 bucks. And I certainly wish I kept it because this is one of those covers, like three Amazing Spider-Man 316 and the Batman 4, whatever it is, of Todd McFarlane's that have really been going up in price. So this comic has a tiny bit of wear at the bottom corner, and it may or may not have a tick. 7.5. There's no way. What a joke. Well, it's a great looking 7.5. I'm shocked at that one. But again, that's a comic that I bought on eBay, and the comic is, whatever, 30 years old or 25 years old. It's from '88. So last book, Thor 337. This is the direct edition, 60 cent. I've actually seen a few Canadian price variants of this where it's 75 cents, and I think I bid on one or two of them. Haven't pulled the trigger, and I figured I have a copy, so I think I might have a second copy actually that I've sent to CGC. So this comic is pretty nice. Um, let's take a look at the grade. 8.5. I'm shocked at the grades. Again, you have visions of 9.8s for everything, but honestly, I think I got a really rough grader on these comics. And what did I get? One 9.8 out of 25 comics, which is not reasonable. So hopefully better luck with the more expensive books. I do have 10 comics that are coming back in the next week or two. The turnaround times are ridiculous right now, and there isn't really a lot of information or updates on when the comics are coming. But I believe it's 2 weeks. The turnaround times are about 2 weeks more than the modern, so I would assume they're going to come back the next couple weeks. Those are the ones I'm really looking forward to, and I definitely hope that this specific grader does not grade them because I just couldn't seem to win today. But thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.